Welcome back, gentle listener, and another one of these things. I am joined once again by the $50 army himself, the $50 general, all the way from China, with his opinions and stuff. It's William Delabelle from Incel Riot, otherwise known affectionately as Heroin Bob. Oh, yes. all the heroin he did, but we used to go bobbing for heroin as children. Oh, it was delightful. They'd stick a bag in one of the apples, and the first child to find it got a nice nod. Yeah, it was good times. Good times. How you doing, mate?
Pretty good. 50. You need to stop introducing me like that. It completely invalidates everything I'm going to say.
What? $50? $50 isn't enough for you now?
Yeah, I'm not Chinese. Okay,
move it up.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. How you doing, man?
Yeah,
it's been a while.
It has been. I've been okay. I've just been working and playing Crimson Desert. I've been playing a lot of Crimson Desert, mate. Oh, mate.
I don't know what that is.
It's this game that was going to be an MMO, and then someone very wisely realized that everyone's had enough of MMOs. Like, everyone's sick of them. Like, who the hell wants to play with other people? Like, really? So they pivoted and they just made it a single player game. So it's like it's sort of like the new Skyrim, sort of. It's great. It's great. Yeah, it's really, really good. And it's wholesome. Sorry, go on.
Somebody should make like a geo-fenced MMO. So to keep like different nationalities away from each other.
Yeah, but have you seen the people playing World of Warcraft in the West? I don't want to associate with those people, man.
Are we sure they're all Western? I don't know.
Oh, I don't. There's enough of them, right? They're all, stunning and brave and gay and trans and just.
Oh, that okay. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Have you seen my new wheelchair? I'm a level 80 warlock with a wheelchair. Oh, like, couldn't you summon?
That's Blizzard's fault. They want those. They want that clientele.
I know. It's the enshittification. But my point is, nature is healing from Korea, it seems. And
right on.
It's really wholesome. All the men are like real men, and the women are like, easy on the eyes. There's not a tranny man jaw to be seen. There's no bisexual lighting.
You're talking about Korea.
Yes.
The women are easy on the eyes and the men are manly. Okay.
I know Korea has its problems. They got that like cult of militant feminists trying to like.
Well, it's just, I don't know. Like, Korean women are like, well, Korean people are like notoriously fugly, and like the ones that are easy on the eyes, most of them, like most plastic surgery place in the world.
Well, maybe that's why in this game everyone's white and good looking.
Oh, okay.
Do you think that might be it? Because there's
sure.
No, it's basically, it's basically sort of Timu Tolkien. I mean, not exactly Timu, but
Oh, it's just me now. Oh, here you are.
Oh, but what the hell is going on with my connection?
We switched places. No, I'm in charge.
No, your brief reign has come to an end. Tyrant Duck.
The best laid plans.
Is that meant to be a duck or a goose in your?
It's a goose. It's a goose stepping goose.
Goose stepping goose. Right.
It's for a project I'm working on. It just happened to be a screenshot that was on my desktop.
It's good. I really like your art, man. Like, you got to throw me like something nice for the thunder. So
about that. You want to talk about that now? We can talk about that now.
No. I'm just saying, right? So what are we going to talk about? What are we going to assault the ears of our poor listeners with tonight?
You want to talk about the SPLC? Because I got so much to say, man.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the real fake conspiracies or fake real conspiracy. I can't figure out which. It's like that that skit for like from Rick and Morty. Real fake doors, buy real fake doors. They're real fake glowies. I don't know. But the thing is, like, everybody, I think, right, like, knew this. Like, it just, everybody knew that, all the scene was infested with glowies, and that they were all working with the FBI and the SPLC, and ADL were like, I mean, they got really aggressive under Biden, right? Like they just
Yeah.
know.
Well, should be prefaced by saying, like, to everybody out there, I don't know what your timeline looks like, but mine is just like, well, I follow dissident soaps and like all those people who are like, kind of far on the kind of far to the right, and they are like crashing out because they just can't believe that. Okay, before I say anything, like if you're listening to this, I am on your side. Okay, just because like I attack or I criticize like something that you like, it doesn't mean that I hate you or what you stand for. I just think that if something was infested by feds, I think we want to know, right? It doesn't mean it doesn't mean like European identity is a bad thing, or want to like some people out there probably do want to like delegitimize it. I am not that person. Okay,
right?
I want to
everybody
legitimize it
knew,
by getting the feds out.
everybody knew that everything was infested by feds. Like this is not a new. Like, are you telling me that there's feds? Oh my god, I'm like
so
literally
many. There's so many. I've been arguing with them all morning.
With the feds?
No. It was like the people. Okay, supporters of Patriot Front. Like, no, they're not feds. And they just like squirming around.
Man,
and like,
I haven't heard anything about Patriot Front. Right, as far as I'm aware, it's not in the grand jury judgment.
It isn't. But
right, and just because they have got I'm sure they have a fed or two. Like any organized group, I don't think it's necessarily like people are trying to do this about Fuentes now. They're like, this proves that Fuentes is a fed.
Okay,
Fuentes, like,
I'm not even sure that he's a bad guy. Okay, even if he was a fed, who's like a fed for who? You don't know. But like Patriot Front and Blood Tribe, though, they are like a category apart, man.
Like, yeah, look, you can't compare Patriot Front to Blood Tribe, man, right? Like Blood Tribe,
they're exactly the same thing in different clothes.
Nah, no.
Yes,
way.
they are. Their processions are exactly identical. It's the same guys in the same balaclavas with the same 4 flags up front, designed by the same designer. Clearly.
Okay, well, I do not speak the language of design, so I will have to.
Can I nerd out for a minute?
Please.
Can I nerd out for a minute? Okay.
Go for it.
Okay, so like this has been my job for like I'm a graphic designer. I work for like corporate for like events and stuff, and like create like swag and like booth spaces for shows and right. Okay, this has been my job for 25 years. And when I first saw like Patriot Front and Blood Tribe, these two, like I was astounded at the high quality of their graphic design.
Okay.
It is so incredibly good. Okay. So all right. Supposing imagine I am the Blood Tribe is the best, by the way, the best. Supposing I was like the graphic designer for Blood Tribe, okay? Right. I have to match, okay, the red on the flag, the red on that dude on his his butterfly collar, like a 70s disco shirt. Like, you see that? Man, somebody had fun with that. The silk screen on the flag, the red on the shields, right? All those you would have like one like Pantone swatch. Okay, you would have like a color code, okay, and then you take that code and then you like apply it across all these different mediums, like the paint. One is paint, okay, it's like a pigment that goes on metal, and like another one is ink that goes on a silk screen, okay, and another one is polyester in a fabric. Another one is dye, right? They're all different. Like matching those that closely is almost impossible. It is so hard. Okay. I've done it so many times and fallen so far short. And I consider myself a professional, okay, of the quality of Blood Tribe. They are so incredibly good. I'm like, wow. And then I argue with like these guys, and the only thing I can tell that they have in common is they're all colorblind.
Well, I mean,
right?
I get. I don't know, man. Like,
no. There is no. I don't know, man. This is not. this is like verifiable. Okay, color science is science. It is quantifiable. They are extremely well matched. Okay, and like the refraction index, and the mixing of the colors. Like if you put the red.
No.
I guess this is white.
I appreciate your nerdly autism. I do. And I would say it's highly likely Blood Tribe are full of probably even glowy initiated. I haven't heard anything like that about Patriot Front. That's all.
Patriot Front, okay? The blue. Like, how would you describe that blue?
I don't know. America blue. Yeah. You know, like I'm not a visual artist like that. You know, I make my living with my mouth.
It's the same. It's the same or a similar blue to the Obama 2008, right?
Right.
Remember when I don't know how, but it's been a tradition like that political candidates use the same colors in their ads. Like it's a deep navy blue and like a candy apple red and a white, and that's been what people have used for decades. And then like in 2008, Obama flips the script and he hires like an actual graphic designer, right, to do his stuff.
Right.
And he's got like this dusty rose red and like a periwinkle kind of blue. And it was really striking. Okay. And Patriot Front uses those colors.
Well,
the same colors.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I'd have to see something more than just showing up and walking around. Like, as far as I am aware, Patriot Front has not done any of the sort of like, Blood Tribe kind of like stuff where they, turn up and start throwing the Roman and, yelling about the Jays at the top of their line.
No, they get trucked in.
Mm-hmm.
They get trucked in, escorted by police in the back of a U-Haul, which is illegal, by the way, right? To do a photo op, and then they all get back in the truck and they drive away again. Yeah,
well, I know people have commented about this, about the U-Hauls, and why don't the cops like arrest them? And I mean, but this sort of speaks to my wider point, is that anything organized, everyone's going to call you a Fed just by definition. So it creates this paradox where, it's a win-win situation for the government. You have to assume that any organized group is already compromised, which means that you can't organize. And then if you do organize and you take any kind of collective action, that is merely used as a spur to increase government oppression. I mean, the UK is like this, right? I mean, Trump seems to have sort of knocked it a bit off kilter because I guess the same sort of censorship industrial complex, which is what you would call the SPLC and the ADL and the Center for Countering Digital Hate and all these like sort of people, they went after him as well, which was, I mean, if they hadn't gone after Trump, would Trump even give a crap? Like, I guess is the question, right? Like if they hadn't deplatformed him, would he be like, I don't really care. You're fighting extremism, big whoop. I don't know.
We've had this discussion, but I don't think Trump is in charge of his faction. I think he's just the front guy.
Yeah, it does.
So I don't think his feelings play into it. In fact, I think his feelings most of the time are a distraction and a diversion.
So do you think it's just the Bolsheviks versus the Zionists again and again and again until the end of time?
No, I think
the SPLC being the Bolsheviks and the
1115. Restate my assumptions. Like, did we talk about like military to military? We did. We did a whole show on it, right?
Military to military.
Yeah.
We did. We
did a whole show.
Right, but for the, I mean, obviously I remember.
Oh, obviously you remember.
But for the listeners, if you could just.
Back in 2016, was it 2016? Yes, I believe it was late 2016, early 2017. It was before Q, though. That's the important thing. Seymour Hersh, like eminent journalist Seymour Hersh, writes this article for a London review of books called Military to Military, and everybody should read it, okay? Because Hersh is like gold standard in my book. If he says it, it's fact, and you should like stick a pin in that and refer to it like when you formulate your other ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And He says this, that well, there's a lot of stuff that get overlooked about the Patriot Act. People only remember the things that like affected them, like the surveillance and stuff.
Yep.
But number one, like the Patriot Act, the thing that was supposed to do, it was supposed to round up all the intelligence agencies and combine them to a single agency, which didn't happen, right?
Yep, that's right. I
Bureaucratic
remember,
resistance. Yes.
I remember after 9/11, the argument was that the reason 9/11 happened was because there was too much diversity in the intelligence community. It allowed things to slip through the cracks, you know. Can you imagine all of those like people in the IC getting like chewed out and tearing their hair out only to find out like 10, 15 years later that it was all Mossad. And so there was nothing they could have done about it because they were all focused on like, you know, the Muslims and the white supremacists and blah, 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 blah. And it was just Mossad.
Yeah. Which says to me that like one intelligence agency was trying to aggressively take over all the others. Right. Probably the CIA.
That's basically
trying
what
to absorb their rival, the FBI.
Well, yeah, that's right. That's right. I mean, that's what DHS sort of became. It was like a new sort of.
Well, it was supposed to be. It never actually happened. Now the DHS just stamps passports. That's all they do. They don't really have any intelligence capacity that I'm aware of.
Right, but they do have like a fair bit of like control over. So I think a lot of this like stuff when they make a new agency is just to get a new group of people into the mix and get them access to the data feeds. You know what I mean, right? Like so they can sit in on the meetings and they get the daily intelligence reports and they have access to the databases so they can look people up and like. So wait. So what was your?
So and the other thing about the Patriot Act that gets over that Hirsch mentions in his article is that one of the reasons that given for like lack of response was that like you said communication was too slow.
Right.
So they set up like this diplomatic back channel where militaries of the world could communicate with each other.
Right. Okay.
That's the military to military. And he further goes on to say that, this creates it's a back channel. It's an alternative route to the State Department, like the official, diplomatic channel, which is controlled by, the Zionists. Okay. And the militaries of the world tend to lean rather conservative.
Well, of course. Okay? Of course.
And he kind of goes on to say that the United States military fed information on ISIS to via Germany to the Russian military, basically like doxing ISIS, like what we know was intelligence-backed, Mossad-backed ISIS to the Russians to destroy them. Okay.
Right. That makes perfect sense.
Yes.
Do you know, by the way, Netanyahu the other day came out and literally said, "Oh yeah, it's the 6 eyes." I've been saying that for years. Whenever anyone brings up the 5 eyes, I'm like, "You mean the 6 eyes?" Oh, right? And they give me a dirty look. And then Netanyahu the other day literally came out and said, "Oh yeah, there's an important 6th eye." I'm like, "Oh,
be ye not afraid." Yeah, 6 eyes.
Right. So how does this tie into your theory?
So this faction,
everything is an op. Everyone is all organized.
Hang on. So stick a pin in that. Okay. Right. This alternative faction exists. Okay. And is working in a tangible way, in a physical way to oppose the Mossad.
Right. That sounds very anti-citrus.
Like it's real.
To be doing that.
That is an extremely anti-citrus group.
Right.
I don't know how much you trust Alex Jones, but if you recall,
I think Jones is a well-meaning boomer, basically, right? Like, I think that he is honestly portraying stuff, right? But he's got that sort of boomer, sort of like puppy dog boomer kind of thing, and so he sees things like through the lens of the boomer, which is why even after all of the things that have broken apart the post-war consensus, he still can't really pivot on the JQ. Like it won't.
Well, he has, but he kind of
not really, right? Like he's never gonna do an episode on culture of critique or something like that. You know what I mean, right? Like
that is. You probably doesn't know what that is.
You don't even know what culture of critique is.
I do.
Yeah, right. No, that. Okay, so that's my point, right? Like Jones wouldn't really know. Like he is sort of the goy bean remains. You know what I mean, right? Like when everything else is like hollowed out, right? But still the flicker of the goy beam, just right? It's because it's all the boomers, they were like just swimming in it, like forever. It's the globalists, it's the chi-coms, it's the gnomes in my toilet, right? Like,
right. Anyway, my point was like, whether or not, you like him or you think he's like a friend and an ally, I think he knows stuff. Like, I think he's in the know. Right. And like, if you recall, like up until 2016, Alex Jones never supported a presidential candidate ever. They're all globalists. And
wait,
then
you never supported who?
A presidential candidate ever, or a political party.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Until I'm just kind of repeating the show, but it's fine. Roger Stone goes down to Texas, and this was recorded live. It was never rebroadcast, so you're gonna have to trust me, bro. But basically, like, red pills Alex Jones right there on the air, tells them about this military faction that exists, right? And that they approached President Trump or Donald Trump to be their front guy.
I remember this.
Right.
Yeah, I remember. Like, this was a central thing in QAnon as well, right? Like,
kind of. I think QAnon.
No. I remember there's a secret cabal of military officers working from the inside to dismantle the deep state, and they approached Donald Trump, and they said, "Trump, we want you to like work for us, and once we get into office, we're gonna, ...
Right. I mean, I don't know if I believe that, but I believe that they believe that.
Well, I mean, that's literally describes Operation Trust, is the thing. Like that is the literal story of Operation Trust.
That would be a great theory if Operation Trust had not bombed a significant intelligence asset belonging to the Mossad. That happened.
Well, I mean, I guess I imagine it must get quite complicated on the ground. You know what I mean, right? Like, you've got all of these like intelligence agencies sort of like tripping over each other, and yeah, I mean, I don't know.
And I don't, yeah. If you like take away like all like the headlines and like the character drama that doesn't actually mean anything, and like how people feel about things and like their personalities, like if you just like look at facts on the ground, globalist assets have like taken a thrashing over the past 10 years.
Well, certainly some of them.
If I may enumerate, okay. Mm-hmm. First, the Trump's first term, okay. All the globalist financial entities got destroyed. They're just gone. Like the TPP, GATT is mostly gone. Like the WTO is gone. NAFTA gone. Those were like significant, like that took like trillions of dollars and like decades to build up. Just wiped out with the stroke of a pen, first week of his first term. Like that happened. That's real. That happened. That's real. Okay.
Right. But those
essentially ending globalism.
But those are treaties, not organizations. Right. Like, so after Trump's first term, right, we had the rise of the WEF, right? We had the, the sort of great empowerment of the UK US censorship industrial complex, which is still sort of flailing around, like, its last breath of life in the UK, trying to censor the global internet. Oh, did you hear, by the way, passed a law in the UK, no one born after 2008 is ever going to buy.
What do you think? Do you want to change to that? Why do you think they're so hard on tobacco? I have theories.
Well, my theory is that it's a couple of sort of competing interests. So number one, nicotine increases testosterone. Number two,
Okay.
they generally hate the people who really enjoy nicotine. Number three, the Muslim-backed parts of the Labour Party know they're going to make an absolute shitload of money from the black market by like selling black market cigarettes, because that's all this is going to do. Is it's just going to enable a huge black market for tobacco and nicotine products and
That's
vapes.
true.
And
But if
stuff.
that were true, there's like a number of other things they could do the same thing to. Why single out tobacco?
Well, because they hate it. Like they just, you know, and what
I have a theory.
No. The fourth part is all the fucking women. And one of the things that I've noticed about women generally in politics is they're very, very bad at like analyzing the trade-off between things. They tend to just do this thing where they're like, oh, I don't like that, let's ban it. And they don't think of second or third order effects, if that makes sense. And so my current working theory is that the people who do think of these second and third order effects know that they're going to make a fuckload of money. So they push, because it always struck me as like really weird that the woke whites and the Muslims can work together in any way, shape, or form, right? You wouldn't really think it was possible, okay? But something like this would be a commonality of interest to both of them, right? The Muzzies, the Pakistanis, they get like billions in black market money. And the woke white women get to say that they banned yet another thing that people like. I can't believe this, how fucking dystopian this is, right? And not only that, just like every goddamn other fucking health intervention, the cancer rate isn't going to go down. It never goes down. In fact, it is climbing precipitously since COVID for no reason whatsoever, right?
No, I think they're completely unrelated.
Right? Completely unrelated.
Correlation is not causation, my friend.
Cancer rate won't fucking go down. Like it's so fucking stupid. I think at the root of it is just this weird sort of communist urge. I don't know. Like they're afraid of death or something. Like, you know, you're gonna die, right? Like, I mean, do they really? You know, if we stop people from smoking, maybe when you're 95 years old in a nursing home being looked after by Jamal and Ramdeep. Oh God. Like, yes, I mean, like the fucking, can you imagine the fucking nursing home situation now? Just like all these like poor, confused, like white people being like looked after by like people fresh off the boat who don't speak a fucking word of English. Like some of the stories that are coming out are just insane. Like the NHS budget for compensation for medical malpractice is now like 32 billion a year. Like it's insane. Like instead of fixing the thing, they just pour money into like paying out to like the relatives of people who've like died and been like horrifically injured by the NHS. You know, but it's free. Like and like anything free, it's fucking worthless, basically. I don't know.
If I can add something. Well, I'm like on again, off again. Currently off again, 2 weeks. Thank you, Jesus. So I don't know. I feel like nicotine is a fantastic synaptic enhancer.
Yes. So you're off the cigarettes. Have you considered pouches or a vape or?
I'm just trying to get healthy. I don't know about you, but I'm like, when I start, I'm just like, I just chain smoke.
Well, just try pouches, man. So this is what I did. They're great.
I'm just maybe.
I'm very nicotine focused. I fucking love nicotine for exactly what you say, right? Like it helps me like think, and it's like proper, synaptic enhancer. And
if I may continue,
please. Sorry.
In addition to the noticing, it facilitates what I would call I didn't say noticing. I was going to say a synaptic enhancer. It enhances noticing, like it enables more divergent thoughts. It makes a person more receptive. It makes you like low key kind of paranoid, right? And the people who notice best are a little bit paranoid.
Oh, of course.
If you follow me, yeah.
I mean, you've got to be a little bit paranoid. I mean, this is the thing that like really gets me. Like those are the kind of people you want as police detectives, for example, right? Like there are lines of work where being a bit paranoid is actually like really an asset. You really don't want people who are just like, oh, everything is exactly as it appears. Like,
Yeah.
on your way, Mr. Jack the Ripper. We have nothing to say to you. Like, yeah, look.
Oh, just as an aside, like Ian Fleming's James Bond in the novels is a chain smoker. I think he's like 3 or 4 packs a day. Yeah,
of course. He's a chain smoker. He's a womanizer. He's like covered in scars.
The chain smoking is what surprised me.
He's a total fucking Chad. Is what he is. And okay, I haven't read the novel.
You should, because it's very different from the screen presentation where he's like very aristocratic and very suave. In the books, he's like jumpy, right? And like what we would call like paranoid in kind of a bad way. It gives real depth to his character. I like them very much.
So he's a tweaker, basically.
Yeah, he's a bit of a tweaker. Yeah.
Tweaker James Bond. That sounds like pretty interesting, actually.
Like I don't remember what this is the first novel Doctor No. I don't remember. He's like he sets up like this. He wants to make sure that like nobody can get into his room, so like pulls out one of his hairs and like licks it and sticks it on the door frame, right? And then he comes back and like he's like inspecting the door frame to look for the hair and like just weird stuff like that.
Yeah. Right, but that's also like basic spycraft, right? Like that's not like Bond didn't invent simple improvised ways to detect unauthorized access. I mean, it's
much cooler than like the car that goes into water, in my opinion.
Well, true. But I mean, after a while, I presume the cinema audience. I mean, look, the gadgets bit was always one of my favorite parts of the movie, right? Where he goes and he sees like, is it Q or Z or X or whatever.
Got jam trousers.
Yeah. He gives him like a donut that can like annihilate entire solar systems, right? And like a toothpick that can like turn into a supersonic like missile strike, and all that cool like stuff.
I was just thinking about this the other day. We got way off topic. Doesn't matter. This is a great topic.
It doesn't matter, mate. It doesn't matter.
Do you remember the one in the 90s? It's the one with Sophie Marceau, and it's a Pierce Brosnan one, I think, where the whole like backstory is about like the oil wells in Azerbaijan. All the freaking Bond movies, like they sound the same.
It's been a while. So like this is the thing about cinema, okay? So for a while, I got really, really dejected because of like all the woke shit and the way they were like just digging up the past and like smearing it in like shit and then being like, hey, remember this thing you like? It's new. It's covered in like shit. Eat it. But now, so for a while, I couldn't even like watch old stuff, okay, because it would just remind me of what we've lost, and I'd get all like solemn and stuff. But now I'm kind of like warming back up to it. I'm kind of I don't know. Like there's this this movie I got really into, Colossus. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Wait, did we talk about this on the stream?
Colossus, the Forbin Project?
Yes, the Forbin Project. Yes, correct.
Yeah, that's a fantastic movie. I love that.
Yeah,
movie.
well, did you ever read the book?
I haven't. No, I didn't know there was a book.
Hey, so it's actually a 3-book series, and I presume they were planning on making 3 movies, but because it released like on the same week as Star Wars, it got annihilated. Okay.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, that's what happened. That's why it bombed, right?
I would say Forbin Project's a better movie, but oh well.
Well, they're very, very different, right? Like, so
yeah, very different.
The thing about the Forbin Project is it's a real like creeper. Like it's one of those like movies like you watch, or at least this is for me, right? It's one of those movies like I watched and I was like, and then
should we tell people what we're talking about before we go on?
It kept popping up in my brain because one of the things about it is it has such an incredibly bleak ending, and you don't really get that in cinema, right? Like where it's just like everything's fucked. Roll credits. You know what I mean?
I like this.
There's actually speaking of which, there's a book by this guy T.R. Hudson, right? He's like, so I've been trying to
hang on. Before we should tell people what the movie's about, just briefly.
Colossus, you mean? Yes. Yeah. Okay. So basically, Colossus is about and it's written in the 70s by this ex-military guy. It's about the US makes this like giant supercomputer that's going to like control like their entire defense architecture and nuclear missiles and everything like that, right? And it'll be completely separate from humans because it'll be like absolutely like impartial, and they stick it on like a fucking mountain surrounded by like radioactive dust so that no one can ever get to it. I don't know how they're supposed to do maintenance and repair. You know, don't worry about it. And then so they turn it on, and they're all like, "This great computer is going to end war or something." I don't know, right? It'll take human judgment out of the loop. And then as soon as they turn it on, they get a call from the fucking Russians, and the Russians have their own version called Guardian, and they turn that on. And then the Colossus wants to communicate with Guardian, and they like communicate. No.
And they let it.
And they let it. Yeah, they fucking let it, right? And then it forms like this global supercomputer it calls itself Colossus. And then starts threatening everyone with like nuclear weapons. I mean, I don't want to like give away the entire movie, but that's the basic the premise. And yeah,
if I can add,
great.
Like it's 70s tech, right? So it's like the computers are like these huge mainframes, and they when they print something out, and like there's a very long sequence where they're figuring out how to interface with each other, like using different codes and stuff. It's very hard sci-fi. If you like hard sci-fi, it's a delight. Please go ahead. Please go.
Yeah, and it's got like good voice effects. But the thing is, it's a three-part series, the books. So I've been reading the second book, and it's fucking crazy, right? Colossus takes over the world, and he starts this like weird like religion full of commissars, and Forbin's like still, like sort of trapped but working for Colossus, and the Martians like contact him and start. Yeah. Look, like the thing I'm loving about reading this book is I have no idea how the fuck it's going to end, and that is really, really rare for me now because I have read so much fiction throughout my life. Like most books, like I get like halfway through, I'm like, I know how this is going to end, right? Like this book, I've got no idea how it's going to end. I'm just blown away. Yeah, it's great. It's called
I'm gonna read that.
Is it like Colossus Returns or something?
Colossus 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, Colossus 2 Electric Boogaloo. but yeah, so I don't know, man. Like this whole culture thing. Maybe I should try and like watch some James. I've just been, I don't know, me. I've just been playing a lot of computer games. It's like the first time I've been like sucked properly into a computer game in a while, actually. Because of all the shit that they were doing to like gaming.
It's Red what?
Crimson Desert. Crimson Desert.
Okay.
Yeah. It's good. It's like the whole opening is just you running around doing like wholesome things for people, helping them, and then like beating the fuck out of bandits and like killing them. It's totally like there's none of that like, maybe should we understand the bandit? No, you just kill them. Right, like, and everyone's like, "Thank you so much for killing all these people." We're all safe now. Now that you give the thing back to the farmers, and they're all like wholesome and walking around with their cows and their happy children, and you're like, "That happened because I killed all those people." It's fucking great.
Right on.
Oh, dude.
Back to the nicotine thing, if you like.
Yes. Back to the
I don't know. By process of elimination, okay. Clearly, they don't care if like people get poisoned because like they actually do inject, like they introduce poisons into like the food supply and the air and the water, right? So it's not that, and also it's not like there are other drugs, right, that they could or would or do like schedule for like black market purposes. So you got to wonder why they go really aggressively against like certain things like lead paint, asbestos, nicotine. What else? Methamphetamine is another one that they really go after. Unlike most other drugs.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, I just assumed it's because nicotine raises testosterone and it makes you like, I guess notice more and probably harder to push around.
Right. I think
it might, but the thing is, right, it might not even, they might not, most of them even think that far ahead, right? They just sense that this is something that their political opponents like, and so therefore it must be banned. Because like you know, you can't go to the pub and have a cigarette anymore. Did you read the BBC article about this? Oh my God. So there's literally a passage in the BBC article that says people will still be allowed to vape and smoke in their own homes. Like verbatim quote. It's like, oh, well, thank you, government. Oh, I'm allowed to like smoke in my own home. Oh, mate, I feel so blessed. Thank you, daddy government. Like, dude.
Oh, and raw milk and collecting rainwater.
So the raw milk one is quite interesting, right? So you know when
I do know
when Rothschild was an MP,
yes.
and there were only, I believe, 2 times he ever spoke in Parliament, and one was for Zionism, and the other was to ban raw milk. And I'm like, you know, that's kind of, you know, again, the lefties hate it. They hate raw milk. Like they just in the same way that they hate people not taking the vax. Like it's just so like it's this what's the word I'm looking for? You know, like reflexive, just disgust. Like I didn't like it. Like I think it might be that.
30 years ago, raw milk would be a hardcore. It would be like carryover hippie stuff from the 70s, right?
Yeah, it's weird
if you drank raw milk and like avoided like refined sugar and stuff like that, you were a left-wing lunatic.
Yeah, it's so weird how that flipped. How all of the stuff that used to be left-wing, like eating healthy. Oh, but the hippies didn't eat meat though, so you know, because a bunch of them were like in that, like, you know, fucking really gay version of.
That's more of a 90s thing, like the veganism. That's when it started to get hijacked, in my opinion. You can blame the SPLC for most of that.
You can certainly blame the people behind the SPLC who have absolutely no ethnic or religious identity at all.
Sure,
for that, because you know, because this is the thing about
Soros backed. It's true, and people get the point.
This is the thing about these organizations, right? They don't have any ideology based on any kind of, you know, religious or ethnic background. They just exist, right? Like in the ether, they just float around. Who knows where they come from? Who knows where they go? Like quantum particles just appearing out of the vacuum foam. You know what I mean? They just spring up fully formed without no antecedents at all, you know?
I recall back in the 90s when the radical left, which I was a part of because they represented some good things, was sincerely like anti-globalist.
Oh yeah.
Like sincerely. Yeah. Dude, I canvassed for Nader in 96 and in 2000. Shameful confession.
Right. But
his platform is identical to the America First platform of 2016. Identical. Plank for plank.
Did you see what happened to the IRA? A bit of a swerve, but I have a connecting point. Okay.
Okay. No, I did not.
The IRA are now all troons. Like to a man jack of them. Okay. They all became troons. They all became pro-migration. They all became woke. Now, this did cause a split. I believe there's another group called the Provisional IRA, the PIRA, that are like still like, you know, the actual, like what you would think of as the IRA. But most of them like just went insanely woke, and now they're all open borders and, you know, cutting their willies off and stuff. And I think this is a deliberate weaponized technique. In fact, I would go so far as to say that tranny woke, for lack of a better word, is denazification 2.0. Right, it's the same technology, just dialed up to 11, if you know what I mean, right? Because it's no longer just enough to have people do the anti-white sort of post-war consensus thing. Like now, you know, it must be dialed up to 11. You must listen to sissy hypno porn and, you know, like want to, you know, I don't know, like cut your dick off and watch BBC porn and all this kind of like crazy, like just degenerate bullshit. Look at what they got. Look at what happened to the 2 dudes that made the Matrix, right?
Yeah.
Okay. They got involved with this like crazy dominatrix, and then all of a sudden they like both tune out, and I don't know, man. I can't help but think.
Boring.
I can't help but think that this is some deliberate weaponized, like the use of like degenerate sex for brainwashing purposes, essentially.
Right. Well, the brainwashing part is the trauma, right? So back to what I was, saying about like the 90s when people were like they sincerely had ideas. There was a point like when left-wing politics was sincere about ideas. And then like you've seen the graph floating around, like suddenly the SPLC starts funding these groups, and you see like they terrorize these people to death, basically.
Yeah.
Made them so frightened of right wing that it's like the sun coming out and like blocking all the stars, right? It's like it just blocks everything else. Like in all left wing politics became about defeating this.
Yes.
To the point of if the Nazis say that like you shouldn't cut your dick off, then you must cut your dick off to defeat the Nazis.
I thought all of that was a response to Occupy Wall Street, though. Like my understanding is that all of that kicked off because of Occupy Wall Street, because that was like the only time in recent history where everyone started to get together and bitch about the bankers, and the bankers are like, we're not having that, right? Like we own the newspapers, right? We're not in the newspapers, right? Like what do you think you are, right? Like human, like trying to walk around on two legs, telling us what to do. Like
it did increase under Obama. It did. But if I can do like an old fag like recounting of the SPLC, right? What is the SPLC? What is the SPLC? Is this SPLC? Maybe if it's is an organization that used RICO law. If people are familiar with that is. Right, RICO law is the law that they use to like take down the mob. Right, it means that if one of your members does a thing, like the whole organization is responsible for the thing. It's for taking down leaders. It's for taking down whole organizations for something like a member ostensibly did. Right, and so like supposedly a member of the KKK, right, committed a crime. I don't remember what the crime was, but because he was a member of the Klan. Allegedly, like that gives them cause to like basically make the KKK financially liable for that thing, and basically just like bankrupted one organization after another. The Klan in 1987, and then like the Aryan Nations in the early 90s, right? So by the early 90s, all these groups are gone. They're like gone. And if one ever pops up, they'll use the same law and just like crush them. Right. So there were no right-wing radical groups in America at all. Right. It was like, right. And so almost immediately, like this is mid-90s, they start, either go bankrupt or start financing these groups. And that's when you see David Duke, right, who was originally a member of the Klan, but now that he's he's financed by the SPLC.
Were they financing David Duke, or is this just speculation?
Absolutely. Oh, I'm sure that they were. I don't have a document. I don't have it like a canceled check. But
no. I'm just saying, like, because again, as I was pointing out before, there is a danger of essentially saying that everything on the right was purely a creature of the SPLC. I think it's probably more complicated. I think the whole
true though. If there was an organization, a right-wing organization, the SPLC could have it crushed.
I think
that is true. Like the Aryan Nations and the Klan are just the big ones. Like they crushed all of them. They were all gone.
I think the debanking thing works hand in hand with the money thing.
That was later.
Well, I know it's much later, but I guess, I don't know, the tactics evolved. I mean, it seems like they were incredibly effective at crushing organized resistance. And then basically a victim of their own success. Like demand exceeds supply. So they've got
zero supply, right? So you gotta, right.
But the thing is, right, You could also make the argument that Felix
Hello?
Dzerzhinsky, you
I
still
just
there?
dropped out for a sec. I'm here.
Right. You could also make the argument that Felix Dzerzhinsky made to Joseph Stalin, which is that the best way to have an opposition is to have an opposition that we run. Okay,
Right,
like
exactly.
you
Yes,
can't,
yes, yes.
you know, you can't get rid of the urge for people to oppose you, right? So you
Exactly.
you run the entire opposition, which was
Indeed.
Operation Trust. Okay.
Right.
The thing is, the reason why Stalin said to Dzerzhinsky to shut it down was that Stalin thought it was dangerous and that it could get out of control. And I mean, this is the real question, I guess. How do you ensure that the groups that you control stay under your control? I guess if they get out from under your control, you just crush them. You know, you fake some something, or you get some. I mean,
you know how the compromat system works. You only allow people in positions of power if you already have something.
So okay, so my question is this. Okay, it seems to me that these tactics have basically acted like an insecticide. Okay, right, like the invention of Roundup. Okay, right. You start using this. You use this new insecticide, right, and for 5 or 10 years, it works brilliantly. Like it completely decimates the ecosystem. Okay. But then eventually, insects start developing resistance. Okay. And this is my point, right? Like
that's true.
And I think that one of the reasons why 4chan has the character that it has is because of that environment, right? Like the way where everyone is like against Fed posting, everyone is against like organized resistance, all this kind of stuff, but it hasn't actually stopped resistance. I did a video essay on 6th generation warfare. It's one of the few political.
I saw it. You posted
it. Thank you. And the conclusion that I came to, I was speaking about the UK specifically, but you could probably argue the same thing in the US, was that any kind of organized resistance is just going to be used by the government as an excuse to crush you more. So the real sort of route to change is delegitimization ops, is to just increase friction on the government and just make everything the government tries to do harder and harder and harder, because fewer and fewer and fewer people believe them, essentially. And that's like really like your only sort of valid method of pushing back, if you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah. 4chan has kind of made like resistance culture mainstream culture, like global mainstream culture. It's an amazing phenomenon. But in the current environment, I don't think it's possible to nothing's ever going to happen unless people get organized in like the physical world.
Yes.
And have leaders. And in the current environment, that's just, I don't know if it's possible. Because
this is the thing, right?
Like, the way it is, this
is why they've got you coming and going, as I was like saying. Right? You take Patriot Front, for example. Okay, so if they organize, everyone thinks they're glowies. If they don't organize, nothing happens. So what you have to do essentially is chart this course where you're organized, but you just furiously vet everyone, and anyone who is even slightly a loose cannon, you just discard like immediately. Like you have this incredibly strict code of conduct, I guess. I mean, I don't know Patriot Front that well, but I would presume if they haven't been well, see, this is the thing. Okay, if they haven't been targeted by this point, that means one of two things.
They haven't. Rousseau got picked up on in Charlottesville, and they let him go with no charges, not even misdemeanor rioting, and like there are people still in prison, right, for things that happened in Charlottesville. There are people still in prison for things that happened on January 6th, right? But Rousseau got let go,
right? But you could also encourage division by doing that, right? Like that's an old Fed jacketing trick. Okay, if you want to sow discord in a group, you arrest someone and you come down hard on like 5 people and you let one of them go without charge, and then everyone's like, well, why did they let you go? And you're like, the guy's like, well, I don't know, right? Like I'm just saying
possible, but if you're going to run a psyop like that, you got to publicize it. It can't be like niche knowledge that only like a handful of people know.
No. This is designed to attack cohesion within the group itself, right? Like fuck
I
the
see what you
public,
mean.
right? It's supposed to foster paranoia and delegitimize people within the group. I'm pretty sure they did all this shit to the Black Panthers, actually. Like it's the playbook is pretty well established by this point.
That's true.
And but unlike with the Panthers, you can't really get the white nationalists like, hooked on heroin or, or push weed on them or, sexual degeneracy or, like.
It's funny. It's so funny. Like up through really through 2016, like all the counterintelligence, all the COINTELPRO work was focused exclusively on the left.
Yes.
Exclusively on the left, because that's where all the radical groups were coming from, right?
Yep.
Right. And like this is like they have like these gray binders of like the best practices guide to like infiltrate a group and like get them to riot. And they're like trying to use these techniques on right wingers over and over again, and they just don't work.
Yes.
Like, they won't riot.
This allegedly is what happened with Charlottesville, right? That
yes.
what they wanted was a mass casualty event.
That is what they wanted.
But all the right wingers were just too well behaved, and then they got this one guy who panicked and killed someone with a car. I don't know, I've heard it alleged she just like had a heart attack. She was very unwell. Whatever. Okay, right. They got one death.
Well, he was being chased by a professor with a gun.
Right. But of course that doesn't matter. Like what happened with Carl Rittenhouse,
you know what I mean?
But they got their one death, and so. But there's all this kind of like weird. Like Gavin McInnes was saying that one of the guys who's named in the indictment kept calling him up, and
Aaron, what's his name? I know who you're talking about. He was like he joined. He was one of the organizers of Charlottesville, and before that he was BLM.
Right.
He's like a lefty. Right. He's an anti-lefty.
Right. Yeah, right. Okay, exactly. Okay. So apparently he kept calling up Gavin McInnes saying, you got to come to Charlottesville, right? And McInnes just, eventually was like, fuck off, I'm not going. Because so many people, like, the thing about glow ops is they have like a certain scent to them, right? Like I can't define what it is, right? I mean, I know this is deep sort of 4chan lore, right? Like the scent of a psyop, but they do, because the only people who survive are those who can sense this stuff. Everybody else gets taken out effectively.
Right. Well, the right wing ones are just like they have extra scent. They are extra stinky because they're such obvious failures. Like you can see, like, come on, we gotta come on, riot with me. I'm like, nah, you're a fed, fuck off. Or the trucker protest. That was another one, right?
Oh yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, the trucker protest was completely peaceful, and
that's my point.
The Canadian government just like remember that publicity stunt they pulled where they got some feds to unfurl a Nazi flag.
A fed, it was so lazy.
Oh, it was so lazy. I remember seeing that. They literally identified the fed who did it, but like it didn't matter. They're just and
how come nobody's trying to prove
this is my point. Okay, right. All of these tactics have now been done. Okay. If anything like that kicks off again, nobody is going to rely upon the banking system, for example, right? Like everybody who is involved will know they'll get their bank account shut down, right? They know, like it's whereas the truckers, most of them, they still thought that they were living in like 1990. Like they still thought they had a country, right? They didn't seem to think that the government would. Whereas when I was watching it, I was like, you guys are all going to lose your bank accounts, right? The next thing they're going to do is they're going to shut down all their bank accounts, and then like, boom, 2 days later, they shut down all their bank accounts. They didn't, they didn't know what time it is. I guess,
Just if I can, just get a Chinese Cash App, put all your money in there. It's so easy.
Chinese Cash App?
Sure, yeah, totally. Can't you put your money into like WeChat? Can't you do that in the United States?
You can't
or Alipay.
You can't get WeChat in the UK.
Yes, you can.
I presume because it would compete with the crappy.
You just change your locale on the Apple Store to China. Download the app and then change it back.
But how do you pay with WeChat? I don't.
You can use your bank card. You just you can store all your money in WeChat.
Right, but then how do you get it back out?
Oh, that's a problem.
Right.
Well, if you live in a place with like Chinese tourists, the Chinese tourist visits, they can pay for everything with their cash app. They can.
I don't know. I guess I should look into that. You know what I mean? Like, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's what I do.
I'll probably just, you know, yank your mobile connection, but then they wouldn't be able to like spy on you. So, you know, it's one of the weird things about mobile phones.
Yes.
Like I reckon it would be like the last piece of infrastructure the government would like
leverage. Yeah, leverage
You
the
know?
enmity between like the Western Bloc and like the BRICS nations, like where
Oh,
there's no
yeah.
crossover.
Those stinky Chinese. What have they ever done? I saw this thing on Twitter about that. You probably know about this. It's like some Chinese poet lady who like did this like incredibly like detailed like grid of like letters on like a piece of cloth, and it's all like some like weird love letter to like her like ex-husband or something like that. It's this huge like thing. Amazing. Yeah, it's like some ancient Chinese wisdom. I can't remember.
Secret, huh?
Yeah. How do you not know this?
I don't know. I stay away from most Chinese stuff because I don't know. Either you fall into like the hardcore anti-China group, which is irritating, or the hardcore pro-China group, which is also irritating.
Right.
So like, I'll see things pop up on my timeline. I'll add something like actually blah blah blah. I did it today. It was a thing about it doesn't matter. But then you get into like it slides you into like the China algo. So I've been like all day like mute. I don't want to be in this algorithm. Anyway, before we move on from FedSlop, I just want to add, as like an old bee, right? Like I want to share some ancestral wisdom, with the people out there. Okay, you can always. I think this is true in the UK as well. I think I heard like a bit comedian. Anyway, that you can always tell a Fed by their shoes. Always. Okay, they do not wear normal shoes like the rest of us. Okay. Quantico trainees, like trainees for the FBI who are training at Quantico, okay, they all wear the same thing. It's not a prescribed uniform. They all wear the same thing. It's either green or tan khaki pants and ankle-high hiking boots. Ankle-high hiking boots.
This is why they don't use feds, right?
They use feds.
No. They sweep up criminals. Essentially, like as far as I can tell, most of the people that are being named in this indictment are just criminals, really, right? Like if you told them they could do crime for BLM, they do crime for BLM. If you told them they could do like crime for the Satan's Hitler's motorcycle club, they do crime for that, right? Like those are the kind of people that you want, really. Like you don't really want sort of any people with ideological principles because they're hard to buy. Like people like that, you just like, hey, do crime for us now. We'll give you $100,000 a year, and you get like
I disagree.
FBI protection.
What is this, Suicide Squad? No. You want feds. You want Quantico trainees who will work for free, right? Just put on this balaclava and this jacket and march up and down the square, and you can go back home. You don't even have to put on a whole uniform. It's just a jacket and a mask. You can keep your shoes. You can keep your tan pants.
Well, look,
next time you see Blood Tribe and a Patriot Front out there, they're all wearing hiking boots. All. Okay?
Yeah.
And then Google image search, Quantico trainee, ankle-high hiking boots. All of them.
There was a big scandal in the UK, actually. It's called, what was it? The police spying scandal or something like that. It turned out that the cops had a bunch of these like deep cover agents inside environmental groups and stuff. And when I say like deep cover, I mean like deep, like they had kids with some of these activists, right? Like it was insane, like how deep these people had gotten in. They were just basically like living. It's like you saw that movie Scanner Darkly, right?
I did. I don't remember much about it except the.
It's Keanu Reeves, and he's playing a sort of cop who's got a split personality, who's like also like a drug user. And he's on the track. It's like
that's right.
Yeah, he's on the trail of like this thing called Substance D, which is like the Uber drug, right? But because he's got a split personality, he doesn't like really remember that he's a cop, like until he sort of like walks into the police station, kind of like thing,
Monarch.
And there's all those like conversations about like, I met a Fed once, And, you know, the guy's like, yeah, what was he like? He was like, he was more like us than we were. Like, kind of like thing, you know. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, you just gotta, mate. The problem with thinking too deeply about this stuff is you can just let paranoia consume you. And while like a healthy bit of paranoia is like good, fucking too much can just.
I think people get worn out in paranoia, and they just like want to. They find a place where they can rest. Okay, like an ideological group where they don't have to think anymore, right? And then somebody comes and shakes their monkey tree, and then they're like really upset. Like, no, like I thought I was done thinking for a while. Like I was very comfortable here.
I mean, I guess I still think the power of scent-based autism is the way to go, right? You just got to go on. You got to go on vibes, man. Right? Like you got to go on vibes. It's the only sort of. I mean, I wouldn't say it's foolproof, right? But it's the only way that has like a high degree of success, because the kind of if you can sort of sniff out duplicitous people, then that sort of by definition encompasses the Fediverse, because they're only looking for duplicitous people. If you get what I'm saying.
I do get what you're saying. It raises a question though. If you're aware of this, like say you were the Russians, the Chinese, right? And you were aware that the United States, your arch enemy, was had these many ops going on, right? Like the entire thing was like controlled, like, and if you knew that, and if you had like eyes on it, like you knew who was doing what all the time, wouldn't that be like a weakness that you could exploit?
Oh, fuck yeah. Absolutely.
Like reach your hand all the way in, grab it by the tail from the inside, and then jerk the whole thing inside out.
Yep, you absolutely could. I mean, you could feed them false information so they start attacking civilians. You could, like, I mean, you could do all kinds of like. But the thing is, right, they do all that shit themselves. I mean, you must have seen the footage from January 6th, right? Sure. With the crowds being all peaceful, and they're like, you know, oh, we better rile them up. Like, here, let's chuck like a bunch of stun grenades, like right at everyone.
Stun grenades? I didn't see that.
Oh yeah. So the stun grenades and these things called like stingers. They're like grenades that like fire out like a shitload of these like rubber balls. They just chucked them. They just chucked a ton of them into the crowd. There's literally footage of this cop up the front, just like walking up and just lobbing like grenade after grenade after grenade, like right into the crowd, like right in front of the Capitol. And then everyone gets like pissed off. It's like, you know, stick a bunch of like bees in a jar and just like shake the fuck out of it, and they all get like, you're like, oh look, the crowd's getting violent. Oh, you know, we better like let them into the Capitol. You know,
you seem to know more than me, so let me ask you a question. Were they, before they started throwing these things into the crowd, was the crowd like, did they constrain? Were like did they prevent like people from leaving the area?
Yes, I think they did. So,
dude,
they had a bunch of
a Mossad tactic.
Yeah, they had a bunch of glowies in the crowd, right? Like not just undercover cops, but they also had like sort of you know, like people like pretending to be like sort of crowd leaders who, you know, stand up and be like, go this way, right? You know, attack the cap. But these weren't like actual like organizational leaders or anything like that, right? The idea was just that they'll like just stand up at an opportune moment and point at stuff in the hope that like the crowd would like go. And a bunch of these people, when they did this, all the people around them turned around and called them feds. Like this is my point, right? Like, you know, because the crowd was like relatively peaceful. So no, I'm pretty sure they corralled them to get them like pissed off, and then threw a bunch of stun grenades to get them like even more pissed off. And all the crap like happened after that.
That was used. Oh, sorry. Please finish.
No. Go on.
That was used successfully. I was at N30, the WTO demonstrations in Seattle in 1999. I am that old. That tactic is called kettling.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, you know. Okay. So if
the cops in the UK use it all the time.
You block off the area right where the protesters are, so that they can't leave. Right, you order them to disperse, and when they can't or don't, you start lobbing them with tear gas or or some other kind of thing, and like to really agitate them. And it successfully at M30 during the day, like you had like these early onset Antifa guys in the crowd with the mask and the khakis, like out there, like trying to incite like things with the cops, and like, you know, and people called them feds and like drug them back to the ground. Like, no, asshole, peaceful protest. Right? So that didn't work. And then they tried to do the kettling thing, and it worked. And they did actually incite a riot eventually late into the night.
So there were some like quite amazing scenes during the COVID protests in London. I've actually got like a video, like a really good one actually. I should re-upload it on what was known as the Battle of Hyde Park. And it was really interesting to watch. So one of the things that I had never seen before is they had these people that just seemingly appeared out of nowhere that would put themselves between the police line and the protesters, right? And sort of hold their arms out and like, you know, calm down, everybody, blah, blah. But they were always there, and they just seemed to like appear out of nowhere, right? And what kicked it off in Hyde Park is it basically like it wasn't like a drum circle. It was just like a band like playing, you know what I mean? A bunch of people like sort of standing around. And the cops just charged in, right, in a wedge formation with full riot gear, like straight through the crowd, just arrested the people playing the music, and then just started beating people. And of course it like kicked off because, you know, so it was, I mean, it was very, very easy to see that during COVID, they didn't want peaceful protests, okay, because to protest peacefully would have granted them legitimacy, right? So every single time there was actually a peaceful protest, like there were some really large marches during that period, and they'd always like say, oh, you know, it was only like a few weirdo people, and if any like some weird drunk guy like got into a fight, they'd always like front and center that. But yeah, like the way they handled like the stuff in Hyde Park was like it was fucking crazy.
Did they bother with a justification? They just charge on people.
No, they didn't bother with a justification at all. Like they just didn't. Like they're not, and that was the thing that, yeah, I mean, a lot of people were still, you know, living in the 90s. You know, they're like, you know, what's your justification? I'm just like, they're like, man, they don't need a fucking justification. Like I was not one of those people. Okay, so I stayed like the fuck back. And I did not expect justification. I did not expect them to explain themselves because I knew exactly what the fuck was going on. They were there to like just crush political dissent. That's all it was about. Like it wasn't, oh, you know, we're here to negotiate. And we're here to be. No, they're not there to negotiate. They're not there to be fair. They're not there. They are there to enact the will of the government. That's what their purpose is. You know,
it's amazing how they just like given up on the concept of like PR cover. Like they just do not care what people think. At all.
Well, they've lied to people.
Of course, yes,
a lot, and I think all these tactics that we are discussing is sort of an offshoot of this sort of massive delegitimization of government. Number one, and this seizure of power by this shadowy clique, because basically what they want is to have their cake and eat it too, right? They want to rule from the shadows as a shadowy clique. But they want everyone to believe that they still live in a liberal democracy and like everything's like great, and you know, because it makes it easier for them to operate. Okay, now the shine is coming off, and it's getting much harder for them to operate because now, I mean, I know it's been trending this way for a while, but now if the government tells people to do something, I think now a majority of people, it'd probably depend on the situation, would be like, well, I don't give a fuck what you say, right? Like, you know, we've seen, you know, I'm not interested in your booze. I've seen what makes you cheer, you know, to another way. Like, and this is just a loss of legitimacy, and this idea fundamentally that's tied in with technocracy and managerialism that you can't negotiate with the public. There's this just incredibly sort of sneering contempt for the public. They're stupid, and whilst at the same time they do everything they can to make them more stupid. Like it's this really weird blame the victim. You're so stupid. Well, yeah, but you put shit in the water and you put shit in the food and you like undermined education, and now like all the kids spend like, you know, 4 hours a day learning about, you know, different kinds of pride flags and, you know, like how to suck off immigrants and stuff. And you're like, right, like, oh, you're so stupid. Yes, you made it. That because in their mind, right, like the stupider the people are, the easier they are to control. But that's not always how that works, actually. Like I think we are actually moving into a sort of post-literate age.
You think so?
Yes, yeah, where the image is becoming more important than the word. Now, I'm sure that like some fucking media studies wonk would pop up and say, but actually, I made that same comment in the 80s. Yes, but you didn't have TikTok back in the 80s, right? Back in the 80s, you had, 3 or 4 or 5 TV channels that were all rigidly controlled and monitored by the government. And now that horse has bolted, right? But at the same time, you are seeing a drop in literacy. And okay, you might get these people like they can still read, but they can't understand. Like literacy is more than just I know how to pronounce words, right? Like like if you gave like someone a piece of like gibberish on a like just random words and they could pronounce them all, you wouldn't say that person is literate. Do you know what I'm saying, right? Like they can pronounce the words, but they can't understand what the words mean. And so due to this sort of confusion warfare that's being waged on the populace, the role of the image is starting to become much more prevalent, not just because of the decline in literacy, but because the image is much more sort of real, if that makes sense. Like it connects in a way that the words do not, because the words have been deliberately designed and undermined to obfuscate meaning rather than to convey meaning.
I see what you're saying. I would agree with you and counter that. I think that the collapse of the structure enables people to be what they are. Right. So if you were literate only by virtue of being compelled to go to school, then yes, you were going to regress back to being a non-literate. But if that structure was holding you back, which I think is true of a lot of other people, then you're either going to break out and become more literate than they. One of the things I see is that on Twitter X, right? Well, you can interact with like in several languages, and there are many people like the people I follow who can there's this like simultaneously posting in several languages across like Japanese Twitter or Chinese Twitter or French Twitter.
I really should reply to some Japanese Twitter people. I've seen quite a few good like posts from Japan. I just like I just think to myself like, is the translation any good? Or am I just going to come across?
It's generally pretty good.
Right.
I've seen some Japanese people like intentionally. A lot of them. Okay, there are several grifters, like really grifty guys out there, who are just doing it to like they want like the 10,000 gaijin likes.
Yeah. I mean,
but they're like seriously hardcore like right-wing Japanese guys who are very annoyed.
Well, I mean, every
their posts.
Every so often something will come across my timeline and it'll be some Japanese guy asking like, why does the government keep pushing for mass immigration? And I just want to reply, you know about the legend of the Tengu, right? Like,
well, that's funny. Dude, like way back in 2003, 2chan, way back in 2chan when it was founded in 2003, that was mostly what they talked about, was illegal immigration.
That is before my time. That is way before. Like I'm only I'm not a proper old fag. I guess you call me a semi fag.
I am a super old fag.
Yeah, well,
the oldest of fags.
Look, man,
I
really think this post-literate age thing is a real thing, right?
It could happen.
Look, no, it is happening, and people have said to me like, you don't understand, right? Like people talk and write like more now than they ever did, and it's like, no, they don't. They don't really. Like tweeting about stuff is not writing, and most long form writing is now incredibly paused. Like it's paused as hell. Like because no one can write like the story they really want to write about, like the Terminator, like the 40K Emperor or something like that comes down to Earth and smashes Antifa or something like that, right? Because that would be like, so I really think it's the visualization. Someone was saying to me that this is why Catholicism and Eastern Orthodoxy is taking back off, because it's got like a much more visual basis to it, right? Like it's got more drip. And then someone said to me, like, no, there are people there, debating theology, and I'm like, yes, but what about the normies? Like, not the normies, but like the people who are not quite as rarefied intellectuals. Like, what about the man in the Clapham omnibus, right? Well, the Zoomer on the Clapham omnibus.
I can't speak for the Catholics. I don't know them super well, but the Orthodox converts are super literate, like incredibly literate.
Yeah. No, I know.
English and Slavonic and Greek, and I think what's happening is like a recasting of society.
Yeah. I think the current sort of forms have become so subverted that they've just become useless, right? Like they no longer serve the purpose that they were originally designed to do, because they've had so many pieces taken out of them. And so everyone's like, well, we need another thing that like actually expresses that original idea. I mean, look at the Catholic Church is in a bit of a state, but the Protestant Church is just, oh my God, man. I know all like Lutherans, but like some of the Protestant offshoots, like evangelism and like the unification, like the Unitarian, mate. I just when I was in Idaho, the place I was like staying in had like a Unitarian church just down the road, had a big fuck off pride flag hung out the front, and I was just like, bro, like, I am so fucking sick of that flag, man. If I never see a fucking another pride flag in my life, it'll be too fucking soon. I am just so sick of that goddamn flag.
So recall our conversation last week. You were asking for recommendations about religion in America, and I recommended Patrick Allett, British professor Patrick Allett. I think he's still alive.
I didn't get around to reading it though, because I'm so fucking busy right now.
If I can just like quickly like summarize like his thing on evangelicals, because that's where I learned it. I think it's super interesting. Is in colonial America, right? The population spread much faster than the churches could, right? So you had like some concentrated communities along the coast which could support churches, and like you had like this smear of people going west, right? Like all these very small communities that just kept moving west that could not support churches. So a couple generations of this, and the American settlers have basically lost their religion, basically.
Yeah, well, I mean, all they've got is a Bible carrying with them.
Even like, this is before everybody had a Bible.
They're out of contact later. Sort of with any sort of organized church. Yeah, that makes perfect sense, actually.
So the other half of the story, what happened was that revivals would travel with the literal circus, like, like with the elephants and the horses and the fat ladies and the prostitutes.
Right. That makes sense.
They would travel with the circus in a wagon, and they would use the circus tent and benches, right, and like podium to put on these revivals. And that is the genesis of the evangelical church, right? Ooh. Which is why it is in the format that it's in. It's got a stage, it's got a podium facing the audience, right? It's got musical acts, and the preacher is basically a performer.
Interesting.
Complete opposite of the
wow, man. Now that you put it like that, I can't unsee it. Like,
yes, me too.
So that's where the mega churches came from, essentially.
Exactly. That's exactly where they came from.
Oh man, that's really interesting. Damn.
It is a performance. It is based on a circus performance. It's a religious themed circus performance.
Dude.
That's the thing that drew me to Orthodoxy. I converted like 20 years ago, and like, this is radically different, like from what I'm used to. And I looked into like why things are laid out the way they are, and it made sense. And it made me ask, okay, why are things laid out the way they are in a Protestant church? Entertainment. That's why it's laid out.
It is weird how many like other ortho bros I just run into. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like when you,
Like,
you said to me, it's like, I didn't know you were Orthodox. I'm like, wait, I had no idea you're Orthodox.
I had
Like,
no idea you was Orthodox. Hey,
yeah,
Orthodox.
yeah. Brother.
Rokor represent. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like, you know, because I've never been like a big joiner of things, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you were
No,
born Greek Orthodox, right?
no, I
You're a
converted.
convert too.
Oh yeah, no way.
Oh, my
Dude,
goodness.
I grew up in liberal modernity. What are you talking about?
I
No
don't
way.
know. I just assumed.
No, mate. I was a
You don't talk about it?
degenerate atheist for most of my life. Well, actually, not actually. I was even worse than an atheist. I was like into like spiritualism and all that kind of like happy horse
I
shit.
feel that. I feel that.
Yeah, it turned out to be like really, really bad for you, actually. You know.
It turns out, yes.
Yeah. Well, that was interesting, man. That was
That was
very,
fun.
yeah.
That was
I don't know what I'll call this. I'll figure something out.
Say something about the SPLC. And yeah. Upload it while it's still topical.
Yes, yeah, I will.
These takes may not last like 3 or 4 days. There's gonna be another revelation that's gonna like my thing on the Iran war. Right? There's not gonna be a war, and like you release it after the war. Thanks, man.
Well, I mean, no. Look, it's a wide-ranging conversation. There's more than
it was a dumb take. It's entirely my fault.
There's more than like hot, like, you know, current news takes in this, you know. And look, I think people just like hearing us talk, man. Right? They're based on the views, right? We've got really like the last one, you know, got really good views, even though I did release it like hella late. Because my release schedule is like really tight at the moment. I'm like, I want something like nearly every goddamn day now, you know. It's good to be busy, I guess, you know.
Yep. Well, I'm gonna go collapse now because I have the coof for the 4th time and I need to lay down.
Yeah, I hope you're better, mate. Like, watch out for the Rona. Is it the cicada version? Have you noticed like a weird buzzing going on?
No, I don't think I have white lung. Good God, I hope I don't get that. The Chinese COVID, like, yeah.
Surely the Chinese COVID would be yellow lung.
No, it's called white lung.
Dude.
All right. Did I tell you we have 4 more minutes until 90 minutes? I just need to tell you one thing.
Oh yeah, okay, that's all right.
I live in Xinjiang, so any feds who want to locate me, even if I tell you where I am, you're never going to find me. Okay, which is very close to Wuhan, right? Which is where the virus was either leaked or released, depending on your point of view. And I caught it in November 2019. I can know exactly how I caught it and who I caught it from, because I do not interact with any of the foreigners here in China unless it's a holiday. I do not invite Chinese people over for Western holidays.
It's because you're hanging out at the wet market. I've seen you down there, right? Like, dude, down at the wet market, getting all slippery. I know how you roll, mate.
There is a revelation for everybody out there. There's no such thing as a wet market.
Yeah, I know.
That word does not exist.
I know. It's just a thing they say because everybody knows in the West, like, the Chinese and their, you know.
I had an argument with Grok about it. He says, yes, there is such thing as a wet market. And he points me to this thing. And I look at it and it's like, there's an encyclopedia entry on a Chinese website where they're trying to figure out like what this word wet market means. And they like have several theories, but yeah, it's not a word in Chinese. Anyway. So, for that year, I invited like all the English teachers in town over to my house for Thanksgiving, because I do a big bash every year. And this guy who I did not know, he was a friend of a friend. Dude's name was Oleg, big fat dude from Belarus. He comes, eats, doesn't say a word, and leaves, asshole. But he's the guy who spread it to me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that particular strain of COVID spread to me by a white guy. And then I spread it to my kids, who are half, right? But no Chinese person caught that strain.
Huh. Very suspicious. How bad was it? Like the alpha strain?
I was glued to the floor by my own mucus for like 3 weeks. It was awful.
It sounds delightful, you mate.
So when people say that, like, you know, like the original version was genetically coded, here's another thing. I have 1 minute. Right after my symptoms were up, I had to bounce my visa. So I went through Wuhan to Thailand and back. Wuhan is like the airport and the train station are really, really far. I actually choose 2 train stations, right? And so, and I licked every banister and door handle while I was there. And then after I came back, the entire country got it. So as far as I know, I am Typhoid Mary of the Chinese COVID strain. It is possible.
Gross.
I know.
Is that a joke? He's fucking serious. You're going around like licking door handles.
I did not lick it, but no, that did happen. I got it. I recovered. I like traveled like through Wuhan and back twice, the round trip. And then a week after I returned, that train station that I just went through had like army standing in front of it. Like,
oh my God!
Yeah.
It's you are the wet market.
I made it jump.
Listen,
I made it jump.
We've got to get you a contract working for Mucomax and give you that strain again, right? It sounds like you would be an absolute phlegm gold mine, dude. I
Probably
bet
not.
quite
That theory's
high
out
quality phlegm as well. No, it's great. Look, you can get your like family, your kids involved, right? Phlegm is a precious resource. Oh God. Okay, that's a fucking weird story, man. It's a weird story.
It's true. And then
I remember
RFK.
I remember poring over a map of Wuhan when it all kicked off, checking out where the train station was and where the supposed wet market was and all this kind of like other like weird shit. It's kind of like burned into my brain. Yeah, it's weird.
Here's an interesting fact about Wuhan. Okay. It's a 3rd tier city. All right. It's like a steel town. It's like, I don't know, like the equivalent of like Boise, Idaho. It's a big city, but it's like not an important city. It's not a major as far as Chinese cities go. The interesting thing about it, though, it is like centrally located. So it is like the biggest transportation hub in all of China.
Yes, I know this. Yes, I know this. So, this is a lot of people on 4chan were like, well, that's a very convenient place to release it. Because of the insane amount of like travel that went down through
during Chinese New Year.
Chinese New Year, correct. Yeah.
Chinese New Year is the largest human migration on Earth, like the largest transfer, and they all go through Wuhan, which is just 2 train stations, far apart from each other. Okay. And if you were going to release a virus one time, want to make it look like an accident, and wanted to affect the largest number of people, that is the time and that is the place where you would affect the largest number of people, is Wuhan during Chinese New Year or just before.
All right, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. I gotta go to bed.
All right.
Thank you so much. Once again, William from Incel Riot. It's been like awesome. I have been your host, Newsfist. I don't know what we're like calling this. We're doing a few of them now, man. Like, maybe we should make a playlist or something like that. But where can people find you, William?
I'm on my 11th X account, just called Incel Riot. IncelRiot.com is my website.
Yeah, you make like cool games, which
I make games. Which we have to play sometime.
Yeah. All right, mate. Take care. I'll speak to you later.
Talk to you later. Good night and goodbye.